If you saw our preview post yesterday, you saw an overhead shot of the track layout. It's kind of similar to what we saw last month at the Roar Nationals, but it had an immaculate surface. After yesterday's rainstorm, though, the track crews had to work overtime to get it back into racing condition. Let's get off the driver's stand and go take a closer look. After a rainstorm over the weekend washed away the track surface, the Silver Dollar RC Raceway crew has been working like crazy to get the track back into racing conditions. The layout that we're going to look at right now is for the two-wheel drive portion of the event, and it will change significantly before four-wheel drive qualifying starts on Friday. Let's go check it out. The first turn at the Roar Nationals was the most difficult part on the track because it rose up at the apex of the corner. The straightaway is a little bit shorter here at the World Championships, at least for two-wheel drive, but it funnels right into the first tricky jump section of the track. If you don't get squared up for this tabletop, you may fly off the pipe and lose precious time. And this tabletop is long and very low, so you have to nail the landing in order to make the triple that comes afterward. You can see we've got track builders Kevin Jellick and Mike Maxwell here patching up some areas of the track right now in this very tight 180 section after a big long triple. It'll be difficult to get on the brakes here and get the car slowed down in order to make an inside line on this turn, but you got to be careful for the curb. Right after that is another jump section. This is borrowed straight from the Nationals track. It's a short tabletop that, again, you have to nail the landing in order to make the uphill triple that follows immediately afterward. This may be one of the most difficult sections of the track. It's an off-camber 180 with a blind apex, and it's one of the highest speed sections of the infield. So it's very important here to not only keep a tight line, keep your speed up, but you have to get yourself set up for the next S-turn as well. This section of the track is a little bit more tame than what we saw last month at the Nationals, which had a much bigger elevation change. Right now, it's actually a little bit banked into a much more wide open corner than what we saw last month, and there's no big tabletop right here at the end of it, so this will be an area where a lot of drivers can make up time. And this may be one of the most interesting sections of the track, right here in front of the driver's stand. It's a long, low tabletop jump that goes into a hole, and then a tabletop over a turn right here that's actually very steep up the takeoff jump. So this will kick the cars up and over to the right-hand side, and they've got to get back on the throttle for one of the fastest sections of the track. Pretty much the entire Nationals track was made of 180-degree corners, and we didn't really see any sections like this that put an emphasis on corner speed. There are several corners linked together here, followed by one of the highest speed sweepers on the track. So the drivers that are able to carry their speed through here will make up a significant amount of time, and the drivers with an on-road background should have a huge advantage. This is another tabletop corner that actually turns a little bit to the right. And again, the drivers have to be back on the throttle because this is one of the straightest spots of the infield. Especially in the two-wheel drive class, it'll be tough to get the cars to land on all four wheels off this jump and get moving toward the next 180. You can expect to see a lot of mistakes in this corner. After being wide open for nearly 100 feet through this winding S-turn section, it's a hard 180 that's going to be really tough to get the car on the brakes, especially in two-wheel drive. There's a curve right here on the inside of the corner as well, so the racers will have to be careful not to hit that, but you don't want to go too wide right here and give up plenty of distance. The chicane that follows is a lot tamer again than what we saw at the Nationals, which had a significant elevation change, and you could actually go straight through the corners. The switchback here is offset much more, so it's physically two 180s before the last rhythm section. This is the jump section right here that cost Ryan Cavalieri the 2013 Roar two-wheel drive buggy national championship. It's a large step-up double into the biggest triple section on the track. It's the last obstacle before the back straightaway. Ryan Mayfield and Ryan Cavalieri crashed on the triple twice in the first and second A mains at the Nationals, and that's what allowed Dakota Fenn to take the win. This is a big jump that's very difficult when the wind starts blowing, and the drivers really have to make sure they get over this safely so they can get onto the back straightaway. This was a gigantic hill that was actually outside the racing surface at the Nationals, but they've used it here at the Worlds, and it's one of the biggest berms I've ever seen in the IFMAR World Championships. It's right after the triple, so the racers will be carrying a lot of speed up here. And again, there's curbing on the inside, so the drivers will have to be careful that the berm doesn't suck their cars down in here to make them crash, but they definitely don't want to go too high. And if the rest of the track wasn't interesting enough, here's a big uphill double gap jump onto the back straightaway. It'll be really difficult to make sure that you clear this lip, but don't over jump it too far and lose precious drive down the back straight. The cars will be reaching nearly 50 miles an hour with all this distance behind me. It'll be really important to nail each of these sections to put together a solid lap time every single time the cars circle this track here at the IFMAR Worlds. I'm really interested to see who is going to do it the best. The technical and high-speed course here at Silver Dollar RC Raceway should be the perfect test for the buggy drivers here this weekend. It took us nearly 7 minutes to walk a lap of this track and talk about it, but the fastest drivers on the planet will do it in less than 30 seconds. The first round of practice is coming up soon, and I don't think anyone here can wait to see what this track's going to be like.
Reminisce back when I used to watch that Thriller. Over and over I used to chill. I was the holy seed, but watching Fraggle Rock was my only need. I used to play ball right down the street, 22 before Emmett. Freddie called me Picnic, so I rolled with it. ABC on the radio, and Aisha was cool, but she was shady though.